Hi everyone, welcome back to PMP Question Practice, where we're going through 5 questions, a great way to start your morning as you prepare to pass the PMP or CAPM exam, something that I absolutely know that you can do, especially if you're practicing every day on these questions and studying for this type of thing. Now I'm going to go through the questions for the first time as well. We'll go figure them out together. Let's jump into the first question. So we've got the first one. You are identifying stakeholders in your project, and you need to analyze their engagement with a stakeholder engagement matrix. Okay, I'm quite familiar with this actually. Which of the following is one of the types of stakeholders? So you have your stakeholders down the left-hand side usually, and then you have, are they unaware? Are they resistant, I think? Are they neutral? Are they supportive? And are they leading? So let's have a look at what have we got. Executive, not our guy. Sensitive, are they sensitive stakeholders? Well, we can have sensitive stakeholders out there, and they can sometimes cause problems, but it's not, that's not for our particular model here. Are they passive? Again, not really for our model here. Resistant is probably the one that we're looking for. And of course, we want to be moving our stakeholders into supportive or leading. I think those are the right ones. So let's look at answer B for now. Okay, answer B, unaware, resistant, neutral, supportive, and leading. There we go, fantastic. So a few stakeholder questions today, or team, or communications, or that sort of thing. Let's have a look at what else we've got. Question 2, you're working on managing stakeholder relationships. Okay, another stakeholder question, excellent. And a huge part of your project. All of those soft skills, really, really important is stakeholder management in a project and identifying the stakeholders. What is something that you'll use as an input to identifying the stakeholders? Okay, work performance reports. No, that's something that comes down the track once you've been working on the project for a while. Change requests. No, that's more to do with the scope, schedule, or cost, or that sort of thing. Approved change requests. Well, let's take it to another level. I don't think it's that one either. Agreements, that looks very promising. And the reason is because you may have made agreements with people in the organization or with a third party or something similar. And agreements don't have to be, they can be something small. It can be a verbal agreement, for example. But they may have said, look, we've got these people for you. These are the resources that you can use. And now you need to put those into your stakeholder register. So let's go with letter D for now. Answer D, the inputs to the identify stakeholder process. Right, so this is particularly for a PMBOK process actually. And you may come across similar ones to these, but probably more likely scenario questions like the way that it's worded here. So project charter, business documents, agreements down here, and EEFs and OPAs, of course, so templates, or the culture, or the environment that you're working in. So all of those things will be an input into managing and identifying your stakeholders. How did you go? Let's look at question 3. You've taken over a software development project 10 months after it started. Wow. And need to find out project stakeholders and roles. Okay. Which one of the following documents will provide the list of the project stakeholders to you? The project management plan. Maybe it might be in there, but probably not directly from there. The stakeholder list, I don't think it's called that. Stakeholder register rings a bell. Identify stakeholders, that's one of our processes, not necessarily a document that we're looking for. So, stakeholder list, and this is one of those things, it's a nuance. It's the way that it's called in the PMBOK guide. And so I think it's called the stakeholder register, not necessarily the stakeholder list. But in the real world, honestly, this wouldn't matter. You'd have a list of your stakeholders. Oh, actually, the register has more information. So yeah, it has who they are, maybe how long you've got them for, what their roles are going to be, their roles and responsibilities. So it is actually a bit more than just a list. So that's a bit important. Let's go with letter C for now. Answer C, the stakeholder register documents all of the identified project stakeholders and related information. Okay, that's nice and broad. How are you guys going? We've got 2 more questions to go. Questions 4, there are many stakeholders in your project and you need to find out who is most likely to be going above and beyond to help you. Now this can be very useful actually as well. In your stakeholder analysis, what type of stakeholder are you looking for? Now it is good to do a check-in, even if it's just with yourself or your immediate project team. Who are your stakeholders and how are they going? Are they supportive of your project? This is actually a great practice to get into. But for this particular process, we're looking at not really mature. It's nice to have mature people on your team, sure, but that's not what we're looking for. Saturated is not really a thing. Superficial is not really a thing. I think we're going to go, and this is the same as our other question that we had before. It's all the way over at the right-hand side. We want people who are leading and who are really extra supportive of our project. I think that's the one we're going to go for. Letter D. The different types of stakeholders: unaware, resistant, neutral, supportive, and leading. And leading is definitely the one that we want to be trying to move everyone over to, if we can, over time. Last question, guys, question 5. You're working on a new project where the team is not working well together, okay? Now this happens all the time as well, especially because when a team forms for a new, like in a new team, they go through these stages. And actually, there we go. This is what this is talking about, I think. So you understand that this is one of the 5 stages of team development. This is Bruce Tuckman, I think. Bruce Tuckman's ladder, they call it, that you will have to work through. Which of the following is not one of the stages of team development? Forming. And this is why I love this, because it rhymes and it's actually quite nice. So you've got forming, norming. You're norming together, so you're creating the norms. Storming is second, because you're storming. Everyone is different. People already have different ways of work. They're not used to working together. They don't know what anyone else is capable of, and so they're storming through those particular issues. And that can be quite painful in a team, actually, but it's one of those processes that we almost always go through. And that's another story for another time, but there are ways around that, or ways to improve that. Then we go through norming, and then we go through performing, and then lastly, when we finish up, we adjourn. We're adjourning. So that's the extra one that they put in there. So forming, storming, adjourning, and initiating is not something that we've got in that particular model. So let's go with letter B for now. Answer B, the different stages of Bruce Tuckman's team development. And this is a really cool thing. Forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. And that's usually how a project team will go. And you'll do it again, and you'll do it again, and you'll do it again as each project comes up. And that's part of the fun, and that's part of the beauty of working within project management. There is never a dull moment. Guys, I hope you have enjoyed this. I hope you'll keep practicing every single day as well for your PMP exam, because I absolutely know that you can pass the PMP exam. You're doing the right practice, and I know you're doing the right study as well. Keep going, I believe in you. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.